Hello, everyone. Welcome to Decoding Downtowns, brought to you by Vistity. In this podcast, we dive deep with leaders from business improvement districts across the nation, revealing the strategies that are shaping the future of urban development and economic growth. Thanks for joining us. Okay, welcome back to the podcast. Today, I'm excited. We're going to go visit the town of Queen Creek. It is a district that's booming just outside of Phoenix, Arizona. We have Jennifer Lindley with us today. She's the Downtown Development Manager. Jennifer, how are you? Welcome to the podcast.
I'm good. Hi, Jamie. Thank you for having us.
Well, it's great to have you here. Tell us about downtown Queen Creek, and most of our viewers may not be familiar with your district.
Sure. So we are located in Queen Creek, Arizona, which is a suburb just outside of Phoenix, as you mentioned. We're about 30 minutes away or so from the Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. We, as a town, were incorporated in 1989. So we are a very young community, and we are also growing extremely fast. We're actually ranked as one of the fastest growing cities in the U.S. and in the state. Our population numbers are just over 80,000 or so now. And when I started 10 years ago, I think we were right around 30,000. So you could see the rapid amount of growth that's occurred over the last 10 years that I've seen, but obviously 39 years or so.
Well,
35. We're 35 years young as a community.
Hey, Jennifer, tell us a little bit about Town of Queen Creek and your organization, how you're, organized, how you're structured, how you're financed.
Sure. So we are a municipality. Downtown Queen Creek, and my role as the Downtown Development Manager is housed within the municipality, which is the town of Queen Creek. We are funded by the general fund, which encompasses quite a few things, one of them being sales tax revenue.
So Jennifer, tell us a little bit about your role and what you do every day.
Sure. So I am the Downtown Development Manager, which I like to say it does a little bit of everything. Anything that happens within the downtown area is sort of under my purview. So it could be ranging from, planning of the holiday lights to helping build a new roadway to attracting different types of businesses. And then also, all the way to compiling data for a potential investment or developer in the area. So there's a lot of different things that I do, and every day is interesting and keeps me going.
How did you get into this line of work?
Sure. So I started out of college working in kind of the nonprofit regional economic development world, transitioned to an executive director for a neighboring community downtown. So I was the executive director of a BID, which we call in Arizona is a little bit different, but it was in downtown Chandler. And then I like to say that I had this unique opportunity about 10 years ago to come over to the town of Queen Creek. And that's when I fell in love with downtown work and what I'm doing here, which is essentially growing a downtown from scratch, organically growing our downtown from scratch.
So let's talk a little bit about what's happening there, what's going on in development right now.
Sure. So one of the things that our town council and mayor did very strategically several years ago was we invested in property acquisition. So by investing in property and acquiring properties within our downtown area, we are then able to ask the development community for something special and really hone in on kind of what we need and what the demand is in the area. But then also work with the developer in partnership on making that vision and development happen. So a great example that we're working on right now is just under 8 acres of town-owned land that, again, was acquired many years ago within our community by the town. And we issued a request for proposals. We are now partnering with a developer on that, and we're getting that live, work, play type of project that our residents so desperately want to see in our downtown. And again, it fits the vision for what we've sort of planned for the area.
When you talk about property acquisition, how much acquisition of land did you guys do?
Over the last, I would say 20 years or so, council has acquired properties when they make sense. And so I think since the 10 years that I've been here, we've acquired about 7 acres of property. But previous to my time at the town of Queen Creek, there was some transition of property that naturally came over to the town, and we were able to also issue RFPs and work with developers on developing that as well. So within the 10 years that I've been here, we've probably acquired just over between 7 and 8 acres.
And are these parcels now currently under development, or are they still, being considered for development?
So the one that specifically that we just mentioned, we are under construction for 2 new roadways that will essentially start creating those urban blocks that we want to see in our downtown. Again, based on what the vision for the area is. Once those roadways, which they should be opening within the next few weeks, hopefully.
Oh, wow.
Once those roadways open, the land that I'm talking about is actually right in between those. So we essentially, as a city and town, have come in, invested in these roadways. They're very walkable, with traffic calming mechanisms, angled parking, all of the amenities that you want as an inviting environment for pedestrians to come to our area. We'll partner with a developer once those roadways open, and the interest is, once we gauge the interest from the development community.
Well, let's talk about economic development just in general, and how you guys play a role in supporting economic development in your town.
Yeah, so we are economic development in our town. Our department houses myself and then 3 other staff members that focus on different industry sectors of economic development within our town. But we all kind of help each other out and do very similar things within the economic development world. So site selection, working with developers on providing them the data that they need in order to make the decision to come to our community and invest in our community. I mean, there's a range of things that we support from an economic development standpoint in order to ensure that Queen Creek is top of mind for development. And again, we're starting to see a shift in some of our development overall, from being more of a bedroom community to shifting towards having that employment within our town. And so that's been a big, heavy focus for us as well.
What are some of the challenges that you guys are facing in promoting economic development in the town of Queen Creek?
I think there's, over the last 10 years, there's been several challenges. But specific to the downtown area right now, I think the biggest challenge that we're starting to see is timing. What is the right time to invest in the planning of things, or investing in the infrastructure, or putting in roadways in order to attract the development? And so again, I think timing is that kind of challenge that we're seeing. Not only from our side of things, but from the private side of the development community as well.
And how's the timing right now? What's the sense you're getting from developers?
Well, because of our council investment in a lot of the infrastructure with our roadways, we are getting a lot of interest. What I am hoping to see if I could put kind of a forecast for the next at least 12 months, I'd really like to see more shovels in the ground. So we have a lot of projects in the pipeline, a lot of permits that have been close to being issued, or if not have been issued. Just ensuring that we're putting those shovels in the ground and getting the construction vertical.
That makes sense. Let's talk a little bit about data and the data you're tracking. And what I'm interested in is, what's the data that people care about most from the standpoint of investment and development?
Yeah, so a lot of what's important now is to sort of set the baseline, right? So we're collecting data in order to gather it and be able to look at those quantifiable metrics going forward as we start to see the development and the growth happen within our downtown area. So that's probably where I would say that we're having a heavy focus now, is really just setting baseline data. A great example of this is even from a tourism aspect. Again, just getting those numbers on what we're seeing as far as visitors go, and then being able to look at those metrics as we grow as a community. I think that's where we're focusing. The demographics, obviously, we keep track of those. Our population numbers are interesting. Our housing permit numbers per month are interesting. We keep seeing a steady increase in those. But it'll be interesting to do comparables kind of over the years as we look back to where we were in our development cycle in our downtown versus in the next 10 years going forward.
What do you think it is that's attracting people to Queen Creek?
Well, there's a lot of things that are attracting to Queen Creek. One of the important things that I like to talk about is our agritainment. And some people don't even know what agritainment is. So I will briefly describe the intersection between agricultural and entertainment and kind of merging those two words. So we have a olive mill. We have a working farm, Schnepp Farms, which has a great peach festival. We have a flour mill. We have all of these sort of combination of agritainment type of environments that bring visitors not only from other areas of our state, but actually from other states and even international visitors as well. So as a downtown, if we could start to capitalize on those types of tourist destinations, I think that's what will make our downtowns really unique.
That's a really interesting angle. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing in dashboards, data visualization, and do people even care about that stuff?
As far as what we're really doing right now is looking at interactive types of maps, working with our GIS coordinator and things that are happening in the GIS world, and just ensuring that we have live information on our website for those developers that may not know what Queen Creek is, may not have been here, or may be from elsewhere, but want that information right now. And so that's provided as probably the best data visualization for our department at this time.
Well, so we talked a little bit about what short-term needs are. Let's give me your vision long-term, and how do you see Queen Creek developing over the next decade?
So I think we have a great plan and vision in place for many of the components of what we want our downtown to become. I think the next 5 years and 10 years and 15 years are going to be critical in order to ensure that that vision is put into place, and those plans that have great bones and structures to are actually executed. So I guess that would be kind of where I would say for the next 5 years, it would be interesting. It will be interesting to see how those plans are sort of executed from the development community, from private public investment, and kind of merging all those things together to create the downtown that we want. So walkable. When I think of downtown Queen Creek, I think of walkable, pedestrian friendly, having that specialty restaurant retail use. Our downtown core zoning district actually prohibits drive-throughs, which if you were to come to Queen Creek today, you would notice a lot of drive-throughs throughout our town. However, we have preserved the downtown core and our downtown area by not allowing the drive-through use, which I think is very important to, again, ensure that we're getting that walkability aspect of development.
So for any developers who may be watching this, who are thinking about submitting a response to an RFP for an available property and a development opportunity, what advice would you give to them for the types of projects that you'd like them to submit?
So I would have them take a look at our website. investtheqc.com. And within our website, there's the downtown vision and page, and really have them look at what our plan is. Again, our council and mayor adopted that plan. This is the vision for the future of our area. And I would, also be happy to chat with them. But I think the plan and the vision is really outlined very clearly for what we want to see in this area.
I see. And how would you summarize it in just the very most top level, high level summary?
I think I would actually probably be very simple. I think Queen Creek, downtown Queen Creek, is unique. We are, like I said, we are going to be a destination place. You will be able to come here, hopefully within the next 5 years, and have an experience-based visit, whether it is through the restaurants that we're attracting, or the agritainment type of uses, or the live, work, play aspect of things. We are definitely a family-friendly, unique downtown, and we will be going forward.
Yeah, it sounds like the brand of Queen Creek is, really starting to develop and come together around this idea of flavor, of, food, of, harvest, all those things. And sounds like such an interesting idea to have a town based on that.
Yes. So because we were so agricultural based, when we were, back in the day, we are definitely preserving those roots and that heritage and history as we go into the future. There's a very, cautious and careful balance that has to occur, but I think Queen Creek is doing a good job and will continue to do a good job of that going forward.
Well, I know the greater Phoenix area also is very foodie oriented, amazing restaurants, all types of flavor. So I could imagine how this could contribute to being a recognizable district within the larger Phoenix metro area.
Exactly. I mean, here's a great example. One of our breweries in our downtown area has started to brew a beer with our olive mill and uses the olive leaves, which olive leaves are kind of interesting, but they've started to brew a beer with the olive leaves. And so there's these creative partnerships that are starting to occur also, which I think is a great unique aspect of what we're trying to do here in downtown Queen Creek.
Cool. Hey, so I ask all my guests this question, and imagine, let's play make-believe and pretend for a moment that you've been handed a magic wand, and you can use this magic wand for anything you want to promote the vitality of downtown Queen Creek. Jennifer Lindley, how would you use your magic wand?
I would wave it around, and I would, again, put shovels in the ground on a lot of the projects that we have in the pipeline. And I would have residents and community members and people walking in the area. And it would just be a destination place to visit.
Great. Hey, before we wrap up, how do people keep in touch and see what's going on in Queen Creek?
Sure. The best bet is to visit our website, investtheqc.com. And all of the information for our Twitter, social media, Facebook handles are on there. And our contact information is outlined on the Contact Us page.
Great. Jennifer, thank you so much for meeting with us today.
Well, thank you, Jamie. I appreciate it. It was great.
It's great. And it's great to learn about the town of Queen Creek. And to our listeners, thanks again for joining us on Decoding Downtowns. We'd also like to thank Vistity for sponsoring the podcast. And until we meet up again, keep exploring and innovating in your districts.
Thank you for joining us today for Decoding Downtowns. If you've enjoyed our podcast, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's brought to you by Vistity, the leading geospatial visualization platform for data-driven decisions. Stay connected, stay informed, and let's continue to shape the future of our cities together. Until next time, I'm Jamie Schwartzman.